Alright, we are all over the place today, but that's not a bad thing because, so much good stuff to look at. And really, do you expect any less? Because I'm Robo. This here's the Rewind. Oh, little update to the Yolopark Transformers AMK Pro Series Generation 1 Starscream model kit, because that's what we do around here. We talk about non-transforming Transformers of the G1 variety. And even then, it's just the first 2 seasons, and then the movie. Maybe a little bit after, but I have a very specific sweet spot when it comes to Transformers, and that's what I like talking about. The rest? Nah. Anyway, Yolopark posted a couple of new pretty promotional pictures for the Starscream model kit, and it is just looking so animated with that hint of modernization, just a little bit to bring it up to today's toy standards. That's it, on to the next thing. No. We also have confirmation of the acrylic stand that they're giving away free if you pre-order Starscream through the Yolopark site. When this was first announced, they had a couple of pictures. They had this, and they had this, so there was a little confusion as to what the bonus actually was. This week they posted a giveaway for this specifically, and this is the image. So I'm not gonna 100% guarantee that this is the free gift you get with Starscream, but I'm willing to bet a good $1.50, $2. Ooh, big spender. We also got more pictures of the Bandai SH Figuarts My Hero Academia Bakugo. Now, from the initial reveal, we pretty much knew what was going on here. It's Kachan in stealth gear, which is neat because I've never seen that before. It makes him a lot more sleek. That's just a smart move because there have been a lot of My Hero Academia releases over the past few years, and even if you have all those, you look at this and go, wait, but I don't have that version. And I say a lot of releases. It hasn't been a ton, but it's more than usual, unless your name's like Darth Vader or Peter Parker. These new images do give us a better idea of accessories, though. Swappable faceplates for different expressions, including unmasked. Blast effects, the usual array of hands, bad attitude. Oh, an oh so pretty glamour shot. That spices things up a little bit. And don't freak out if you can't find the pre-orders or the link in the description, because there's not one yet. Those go live next week, so we'll probably be right back here talking about even more promotional images. Keeping with SH Figuarts, but speaking of Spidey, Bandai has teased a Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Peter B. Parker with Mayday, along with the reminder that, hey, Spider-Man India is also up for pre-order. Then sometime in the night, they posted a full body shot on Instagram, giving us a better idea of what's going on here. Yup, that is a soft goods fuzzy pink robe. No, I don't know if Mayday Parker is articulated or even comes out of the carrier. Yes, they are still using those garage door covers down at the hips on their figures. Otherwise, I know as much as you know at this point. The only information we have is the word next. So we shouldn't have to wait too awful long to find out more. Hey, that's a perfect segue into some Hasbro Marvel Legends news. This week, Marvel Unlimited announced that their next incentive figure will be Night Spider. This is going to surprise a lot of you. I don't know who Night Spider is, but I like the look. With my razor-sharp detective skills, I'm going to guess that this is a mix of Moon Knight and Spider-Man. There's the white web cape, the spider eyes on the head, the logo on the chest, but then the legs of that logo form crescent moons. That same design element is on the thighs, and then those are straight up moonarangs. Then of course there's the name, Night Spider. Only someone of my superior intellect could decipher and ascertain the origins of that name. Night
Spider. Night Spider.
In order to get the figure, you need to enroll in the exclusive kit on Marvel Unlimited, and that runs $99 a month. But more than anything, is this the first year that they've actually carded up the figure? I didn't get the last one, or the last couple, but before that, I always got the figures in baggies. They just came along, which is perfectly okay. I'm gonna rip it open and play with it anyway, but that does fancy up the presentation a lot. Interesting. I also like that lithograph, and I need to read some comics. But then over in Marvel Legends news we already knew about, the MCU Outriders went up for pre-order this week. This is one of those characters that I didn't really have a sense of detail with until I got a better look at the figures. They're cannon fodder. We're not supposed to feel bad when they are dying by the hundreds. But now that I can see all the details and everything and a little bit of personality, I'm kind of feeling guilty for cheering on their mass slaughter. Yeah, I hope your race goes extinct! Yeah! And really, Thanos was just trying to help out the universe in his own way. Everything I believed is a lie. Oh, hey, look! McFarlane Toys is making more Spawn figures after the character appeared in yet another franchise. Well, I'm assuming Spawn showed up in Call of Duty. These pictures are labeled Call of Duty. The titles say Call of Duty, so you can see how I arrived at that assumption. I'm also not familiar with a lot of the older Spawn releases, so I don't know the level of reuse here. Although, I kind of think this is using the old from a couple of years ago and has been reused a lot of times since, the Mortal Kombat Spawn body. Maybe I am wrong, but maybe I'm not. Is it sad at this point that I just go with me being wrong and I have no problem with that? Tactical Spawn seems a lot more Call of Duty on the surface, at least my limited knowledge of the game, with the gear on top. But you can't blame Todd for trying to get a regular Spawn out there again, because did he show up like this too? What am I doing? I'm just talking about Spawn figures. At least it has some upgrades. Check out that cloth cape. That is pretty sweet on a Spawn figure. Between that and the lack of chunky bits, like the big boot, this is very tempting, he says, knowing that it's sold out at most of the online retailers at this point. Maybe it'll be easier to pick up once it officially releases. This is also where the budget for guns has gone for the past 8 months. These are all rehashed from the munitions packs that were released a few years ago, so no new molds, not breaking the budget, might as well throw them in with some Spawn figures. And if you get the Spawn, because you want a Spawn figure, he can only hold 2 at the same time, so you can take those other guns, put them wherever you want. This is like getting mini munitions packs with a Spawn figure. But I'm thinking most people are buying these for the Spawn figures. McFarlane Toys swings us over to the only DC Multiverse solicitation this week, the Gold Label Amazon exclusive Arkham City Batman and Solomon Grundy. I feel like I spend most of these episodes just spouting long-ass titles for shows, and McFarlane Toys is the worst, or best. You gotta admit, they're pretty good at stringing a word salad together and sticking it under pretty pictures of toys, you know? If you haven't played the game, this is what the characters look like in detective mode. Couple of things here. Grundy looks way better than he should. In fact, when I first looked at it, I was like, did they retool that to have the bones embedded in orange translucent plastic? Oh, no. It is translucent plastic, but the bones are just a paint job on top. Still looks pretty neat though. Now, embedded bones would be amazing. It would be spectacular. It would be fantastic. But no way that level of re-engineering is gonna happen at a $40 price point for a 2-pack. That seems like a crazy price for 7-inch scale figures, one of them being a big hunk of Build-A-Figure. That makes it even more impressive. Hell, that price is for Grundy. You get a free Batman with it. But while we're in DC Multiverse territory, and just to add to the segment a little bit, put a little padding in the middle of this episode, I want to correct myself for saying that the DC Multiverse Rebirth Cyborg is a completely new sculpt, because it's not. As a lot of you pointed out, it actually does reuse parts from the Dark Knight Metal Murder Machine, and then the big honkin' arm gun is from the Justice League John Stewart Green Lantern. But those released in 2020. A lot happened that year, and a lot has happened since. I know it's only been 4 years, but how many toys have we talked about on a weekly basis since then? A whole hell of a lot. And hey, I'm Robo. I don't know. It's a whole new world every day I wake up. You can show me something old and I'm like, look at that. No, I will say, again, in my defense, new head, new chest, new abs, new crotch piece. So it's essentially just the limbs. Where am I going with this? To the next set of toys. It may not be correct, but DC brings me to the Mezco 1/12 Collective Junkyard Joe. I know, it's an Image comic, but to me, when I look at this, I think G.I. Robot. Come on, G.I. Robot was even called Joe in the first incarnation. And that's the beautiful thing about toys. You can do whatever the hell you want with them once you plunk your money down and it arrives at your porch, or you get out of the store and drive on home. At that point, go hog wild. Ain't no rules to this whole game, to this hobby, except one. don't put them in your mouth. Taking all of that out of the equation, it's just a cool looking robot in fatigues. It gives me retro tingles. Plus I absolutely love that it's not a big, huge tank of a war machine. It's just, well, regular Joe. The design makes me feel like there's some trepidation, like doesn't want to be where it's at. It has a fear of its existence ending at any moment, but it has a job to do, and it just wants to survive after doing it. Maybe I'm reading a lot into it, or I've subconsciously picked up on some of the cues and notes from the description, but I like it. That's what it comes down to. So much so that I actually ordered me a 1/12 collective figure, my first in quite a bit, which was surprising because this is a Mezco exclusive that hung around for longer than 15 minutes. I'm as shocked as you. I still gave it a day though. I made a deal with my wallet. I said, hey, wallet, we're gonna leave this up to fate. If this is still available 24 hours later, I'm gonna order it. So be ready. Just give me this one. Please, come on. Work with me. Next day, yup, there it was. Sorry, buddy. I know. Maybe it wasn't as popular as other releases, or maybe there's other factors at play. I just know I got one, and I'm gonna enjoy it once it ships and actually gets into my grubby little hands. LooseCollector continues to be busy, debuting his new original line called Burning Hammer. We saw this name on a placard back at Joe Fest, I think it was, and at the time, I said, what's Burning Hammer? Now we know that it's a fighting tournament where all the masters from various forms of fighting get together to see who is the very best in the world. Yeah, it does sound a little familiar, but what doesn't these days? It takes cues from a few famous franchises, but hey, as long as I'm getting new, semi-unique characters, because yeah, you can draw parallels, but at the same time, it's different enough that I can just mix and match into my various displays, my various universes. I mean, look, they feel right at home next to Marvel Legends and Jada Toy Street Fighter and Articulated Icons and the Tekken line I must have missed somewhere. Even better, these are $45 each, which is fairly cheap compared to other LooseCollector releases. But you will notice that, one, no licensing fee. This is original. He doesn't have to fork out money in order to make the figures. And two, this is a solo project. He's not teamed up with a distribution company or someone else to help fund the project. LooseCollector's doing everything here. There's less hands in the cookie jar and less money going out to get permission to make characters. But that's all speculation, really. At the end of the day, I don't need to know. I just see the price tag and go, okay, $45 is cool. I just hope that the series is successful enough to get more figures made at this price point, because onward and upward. Hey, these are cool. What can we get to go with them? And after that, these go with those, and those go with those, and those goes with those, and we're just so many toys. Possibilities down the road. That's the name of the game when you are producing toys. Speaking of original IPs from smaller companies, check out Boss Fight's H.A.C.K.S Core Wave 1. These are an interesting mix of unique characters and army builders smashed together in each individual release. Well, okay, the Amazon Warrior doesn't have a name, but because of the parts included, you can either use this as a lone fighter in the middle of a battlefield, or string them together and have individuals. They're all part of the same army. Yeah, they all have the same armor and stuff, but different weapons, different heads. Changes things up a bit. Same goes for the Dark Hand Pirate Clan. But we're not talking about the Seven Seas, we are talking outer space. And this one has even more options to make 3 unique characters. Or, again, mix and match, do a little troop building. But if you do end up with just one, there's also accessories that you can use in other places. I already have ideas for that pair of boots. This figure can keep the lizard legs. I can take those boots, put them elsewhere on a couple of customs I'm working on, and then you have alternate heads to put on generic bodies in different universes. Individuals, unique characters, troop building, and customizing potential. This is looking better and better all the time. Delger Bat, the Beast Tamer, is an example of a named character. And then again, if you want a couple of soldiers flanking them, buy a couple more, change out parts. And the same goes for Roxy London, freelance peacekeeper. You can have Roxy leading a group of peacekeeper robots. And I think this is my favorite of the assortment, just that retro futuristic feel with Metropolis vibes. And if the final product pulls off that purple jumpsuit with the blue shimmers on top, that's gonna be beautiful on the shelf. And then I'm realizing that there's two factions at play here. There's futuristic and there's historical. I hope that trend continues if this line goes on to wave 2, 3, 6, 24, however far it wants to go. But I better get a dang cowboy at some point. Cowboy, cowgirl, just, yeah, that era too. Please. Finishing strong with another solicitation that is just all new plastic for my eyeballs, here is the Memory Toys Necromancer, Shaman, and Imp. I've heard chatter that this is based on a World of Warcraft design, but that's lost on me. I just see a kick-ass dark wizard and a little demon minion. I did double check to see if it was indeed called Shaman. I thought at first maybe I typed that wrong. It's supposed to be Shaman, but no, it's Shaman. Is that another WoW reference? Or am I not supposed to squeeze it when Mr. Whipple's around?
Has deep down squeezable softness.
It smells good too.
Please don't squeeze the Sherman. Be out of town by sundown.
Mr. Whipple!
That's right! All that set up so I could show a 60-year-old commercial. That's the kind of entertainment you get on this channel. Anyway, look at this thing. It is magnificent. Again, lots of different options for different looks, from hooded to bone crown to letting the hair fly to just naked zombie. To put it over the top, there seems to be some glow-in-the-dark paint used in places, and then it's even more glowy because I think they took these pictures with a black light. So those runes on the hang down and the eyes and other parts just popping, that makes it even better. That makes me want to buy the figure and actually buy a black light, which I haven't had in 30 some odd years. But something that catches my eye just as much, if not more, is making the knees and elbows look like exposed bone. That is the perfect way to integrate action figure articulation into a design like this. Because what is bones but internal supports and joints? Okay, it's not groundbreaking. It may have happened before. I just think it's clever because it looks like bone. It's joints. We know it's joints. We see joints. But because of the design, you think, oh, that's whoa. It just jumped out at me. I'm a simple guy. I'm easily amused. But that, alongside the magic effects and the sheer presence of this figure, is this another one on the pre-order list? Sorry, buddy. I know. Okay. We'll rest when we are dead. Imp, on the other hand, is just your run-of-the-mill lesser demon. That doesn't make it any less tempting, though, because when I first saw it, I thought, oh, that's gotta go with my Goblin Queen. It just has Inferno written all over it. Again, do what you want with your toys. It's perfectly okay. You can order these separate or as a set together, but you don't save any money whatsoever if you order it as a set. It's the same price. And remember, if you click the 5K Toys link in the description, scroll down and see the actual price. Don't come back here and go, well, I see $25. I must have got a hell of a deal on mine. And then come back mad at me because it's actually $118. And the $25 was a deposit. So just, yeah, slow down. And that's all I have for this week, which is okay because that's a lot of toys. As always, special thanks to the Nobots, the Patreon. What happened this week? What did we show? Oh, yeah, okay, some teases of upcoming videos. Oh, and also, if I don't say it enough, reviews, rewinds, reading Robos, they go up a day early on the Patreon, which it ends up on YouTube. But if you want to see it a little bit early, there's always that. If not, that's cool too. Speaking of reviews, I took a look at the G.I. Joe Naugahyde this week, and man, Pork Belly is so good. The Classified series is killing it with the animals. So much so, I think I've said this at some point, but man, Hasbro, if you could do a wildlife line, just animals of the world, just generic, but with the same care you do with the Classified series animals, we'd all buy them. And I do not like to be, I don't like to speak for the community because I hate when people do that. No, I'm not speaking for everybody, but man, they are so good that I guarantee a lot of us would buy that line. I want the giraffes, I want the elephants, I want lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Dogs, cats, what else am I thinking of? Anything. If it's an animal, then I would buy it in plastic form. Also, thanks for everybody who's watched and commented on the Reading Robo series, where I'm just going back, getting a little nostalgia tug, looking through trading cards from the 90s. But I'm running out of those. I'm gonna go back and do series 1, but I may skip around because do we really need to go there? Well, here's Captain America. He could use an update. Yep, sure can. We'll probably skip around. Just find the cards that are characters that haven't been made into action figure form yet, or haven't been talked about on any of the episodes. Maybe we'll zoom through those and get to the handbooks, because that's what I'm really excited about, because man, those go a little deeper. You ain't finding no Archon trading cards. I asked what I should do, but it's definitely handbooks. But going and finding my stack, I have issue 1. I have, oh man, the one that starts with H, the one that starts with K, and the one that starts with U. These are my originals from the early 80s. And like I've said several times before, the handbooks, they got a lot of use. So much use that the covers didn't make it. Oh, there's Wolverine right there on the back looking badass. I've written numbers down at the bottom for some reason. I don't know why. These were carried in backpacks and in the morning at breakfast, cereal, reading, pouring through, looking at the pictures. We need an in-betweener. Look at that. There is just so much in here that I'm probably gonna go. We need certain characters, you know? Jack of Hearts has been on the list forever, but I think what it comes down to is paint apps. Look at how many hits that is. That has got to be a deluxe figure in terms of Marvel Legends. And then I had number 14, one of the Books of the Dead. What it comes down to is I'm super excited now that I've looked at some of my older issues, and I don't remember if this is all I had. Still, I'm excited to get into it again. To get in front of the camera and go, oh, we need this as a toy because I like toys and I like this character because it was in the handbook. So I've already went on eBay and bought a complete set of the 82 series. And I'm even going to go through the Book of Weapons because we need props and stuff, right? And maybe someday Marvel Legends will do accessory packs along with some heads and some unique stuff. But it's just a bit of nostalgia and wish listing. That's all it is. Ain't nothing wrong with that. From comics that are, at this point, 42 years old. Maybe we can do this for another 42 years. Wait, add it up. Oh man, I'd be in my 90s, still out in front of the camera.
Well, I remember back when toys didn't have real skin on them. And hair, and you push a button and it just changes color. Back in my day, we actually had to pose our figures with our hands. We didn't think into the thinking knob and just appear. Yes, sir. My name's William H. Bonney. Billy the Kid.
Okay, I'm done. Bye.